Hello, my Bill for 1000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another That Chapter. This one is titled Twisted Teen Hid His Dark Secrets in Plain Sight. Ooh. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's get very concerned. Twisted teen. Yeah, very concerned. I got teenagers. I'm concerned. Let's go ahead and get into today's story. Go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cup of something special. Let's get concerned.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, the year was 2014, North Carolina, and a 15-year-old girl was just popping out of her house one night. She had to drop something back to a friend, just a couple of houses down the road, be right back. Unfortunately, it appeared that right after, two things happened. One was that she didn't go to her friend's house. She went to the local creek. And she was not right back neither.
Damn.
In fact, she would never come home. The following investigation had its twists and its turns, and then one of them, shocking endings. Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go, Mike. Oh, it's gonna be fucked up, bro.
This old story takes us to the kind of ironically named place of Hope Mills, an itty-bitty little place just outside of Fayetteville. The town motto, where families live and grow. That's a powerful motto. And what is it known for? Well, precisely nothing at all. I can hear the locals screaming at me right now. Many retired military personnel live there, as not far away is Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg. And it's small, not much to do, though sorta idyllic. The kind of place where you can imagine kids playing games, getting up to no good, sorta like a Stephen King novel or something. Kids would often hang out together at a place that was called, it was a creek, nestled deep in the woods, and they would hang out, swim, camp, all of that. One of the kids who often hung out there, right, was 15-year-old Danielle.
I understand that 100%. Like, where I lived at, there was this big old creek down over the hill. Like, it had a huge field. Like, you went down the hill, there was a huge field, a creek, another huge field on the other side of it. And it was just beautiful. Loved it. Me and all my friends, we'd go down there, go camping, all kinds of shit.
Danielle Locklear.
Hey guys. How you doing? Good, because I wanted to know. Anyway, so what should we talk about today?
Dani was funny. She was witty. She posted videos often on YouTube of her just playing around, having a good old time. A cheery, happy-go-lucky girl. In 2014, Dani was living in Hope Mills with her aunt and her aunt's family. Her own parents were going through a divorce that was highly acrimonious out of state, so it was figured best not to have Dani around and be seeing this. So moving to Hope Mills was kind of a fresh start for Dani, but she fit in right away. This wasn't a stranger in a strange land, it was like she'd always been there. She had her friends. She had a fella named Jamichael. She got on really well with her aunt and her aunt's family in the school and all. She quickly became super popular. She was a very good academic performer too. The love between herself and Jamichael, it was one of those very cute, all-consuming sort of teenage relationships. You know yourself. I don't, but maybe you do. They were always around each other, described as a very...
That puppy love that just doesn't stop. Oh yeah, we've all been there, bro. I feel bad for kids, man. Like, I remember going through that shit. It's awful.
Cute couple. They, like most teen couples, would break up for a few days over something silly and then be back together. Jamichael was known as a good kid, varsity runner, never got in trouble, and was very focused on becoming a Marine after school. By the time March 2014 kind of rolled around, Danielle had been living in the town of Hope Mills for about 10 months. A good-ass 10 by all accounts, 8 of those months with Jamichael.
Yeah.
Dani was growing fast, but 15, still a child. And so it was that on March 10th, 2014, that was when her aunt and her grandmother had to go out of town, and her mom was out of town too, so well, family still wasn't okay with leaving her by her lonesome, so Dani was to stay with her grandfather. He was to keep an eye on her. The next day, March 11th, that's when Dani goes to her her grandfather, right? And she says to him, listen, it's getting late, but I gotta drop a notebook back to a friend from school. They just live a couple of houses down the road. back in like 2 minutes.
Damn.
This was a Tuesday night, school night, of course. But she said she'd be right back, and this was at about 9:45.
And I'm pretty sure her grandpa was like, "Oh, sweetie, go right on ahead." And you know, granddaughters and grandpas, man. I have a grandfather. He'd smack me right in the fucking ear. But like my cousins that was girls and be like, "Oh, go do it. Oh, she's so sweet." Nah, bruh. I know what she doing. You don't know what she doing. I know what she doing.
p.m. She pops out the door back in 2, though 2 becomes all the numbers that come after 2. And she wasn't right back. The grandfather then began to wonder. He opened the door, looked down the street as it was only lit by street lamps, and saw no one. He went to this friend's house, Alexis, just a couple of doors down the street. Danielle was never there. It was the next morning that her aunt, her grandmother down in Atlanta, her mother down in South Carolina, they were informed that Danielle did not come home last night. The police were called immediately after.
Damn.
Vanished
man.
without a trace. She's a student at Southview High School in Hope Mills. Investigators searching for the teenager held a press conference just a few hours ago. Brian Mims was there. And Brian, what are they saying about the circumstances surrounding this girl's disappearance?
Jackie, what they're saying is the circumstances are a mystery. Hope Mills police are working with Fayetteville police, sheriff's deputies, the FBI. It's a task force of about 50 law officers to figure out what happened to this girl and where she is. At home, a family waits, losing a lot of sleep, but not losing hope. Danny, as everyone calls her, was missing.
No one knows what a mother goes through when I feel like my heart has been ripped out.
Danielle Locklear is a freshman at Southview High School. A good student, a popular student, her friends and police tell us.
The police wanted to believe that she had simply ran away or was staying with a friend, her boyfriend, maybe. Jamichael, though, said he hadn't seen her, in fact, in a couple of days. They had actually broken up.
What can you do to
Damn.
help us find her? But you guys were kind of boyfriend, girlfriend on and off, right? Right. Okay. What's your current status?
I'm single.
Okay, so you guys aren't together.
Right.
How did you feel about that?
I mean, at first, it was love, amazing. And then eventually,
Like, this love at first sight kind of thing?
eventually, spark dies down, and we just grew apart. I mean, I still love her. I mean, she was a good girl.
And you've done absolutely
Why'd he say
nothing
was?
to hurt her in any way.
Right.
And you don't
Like, she's just missing. Shouldn't he have said she's a, she's a good girl? Like, why'd he say she was a good girl? What's he know we don't know? You know? You know.
know anybody else that has.
So, where was she? Well, the day she had gone missing, the 11th, before she'd gone missing, she hadn't actually gone to school that day. Her family were completely unaware of this, that she had begun ditching school. They had always heard whispers and rumors of this mysterious creek that all the kids hung out at. Maybe she was there. This was like a no-adult zone, but luckily, they found one teen who showed them where it was. And arriving at this creek, they saw something I would definitely describe as ominous. The word help carved into the dirt. Had Danielle left this? Further on down the creek, among the fire pits, clothing, just all sorts of shite teenagers leave lying around. They also found something even more worrying. A sock. Danny's sock. It was her night sock, one she would have been wearing as she was getting into bed, so there was no chance it had been left there some other time. She had been here the night she disappeared.
They heard she might have been down by the big creek that runs next to the neighborhood, a long-time hangout for teens. Her mom told us she found some of Danielle's clothing there 2 days later. Police, firefighters, canines, they all searched the area. Nothing.
The friend Danny
Wow,
was
bro.
supposed to go drop a book back at hadn't seen her, though she had hung out with Danny earlier on the day she disappeared when she was supposed to be in school. And Danny, she said, she was in good form, she was down by the creek, she was seen on CCTV. She had been with a few others, and it seemed like they were all having fun. So had Danny then met somebody down at the creek like later on that night, been down to the creek with somebody, went home, and then snuck out to meet them again. She had been seen like making out with some guy down there earlier on that day, a classmate, a guy named Angel. He was cleared pretty quickly though, and confirmed to be with his family during the hours Danny disappeared. It seemed like she had gone down to the creek that night, and then vanished down there. The search for Danny continued, and days would go by.
10 days after Danielle Locklear was last seen, police focused their search on this wooded area near the creek where the 15-year-old's family heard she may have been when she first went missing. It's at her school where police are asking volunteers to meet tomorrow morning to help continue the search for Locklear.
The immediate family, the grandfather, they were questioned and cleared. The police then moved to Jamichael. They had broken up and he said he hadn't seen her in a couple of days. They had been super close, even though she was 15, himself 17, they had talked about marriage and family. He was a super laid-back guy, her the more extroverted one, so they made a fine pair. But now they had broken up, and she was missing. Now Jamichael thought maybe he knew where she had gone, and I'm talking R-U-N-N-O-F-T.
She thought she was a burden to her grandma, and that's why she really wanted to go back to South Carolina.
If she's run away now, where do you think she went to?
Close friend. The only thing I can think of told me and tried to kill herself twice.
Why?
Just because she didn't want to be here anymore.
Now, of course, it's always the ex. Even when it's not the ex, it's the ex. Except. He had an alibi. He was with his mom and a friend that night, and they confirmed it, that he was there with them. His phone said the same, that he was at home. He had been texting from his home, and that's what the data said. And there was no messages between the two of them. He also lived like 30 minutes away, and he didn't have a car. He was worried, and he was taking part in the searches for Danielle, so the cops moved on. The police investigated the school, any classmates, teenage shit, going on. There's always teenagers, well. One name.
I'm sorry, but I have teenage boys, and they are on Snapchat. They are all over everything. And even when they think they're being sneaky, they're really not. I love them. I love them dearly. They're my boys. They're not bright. I don't ever have to worry about like actually catching them up in anything because they'll tell on themselves. They tried to lie, but they're horrible at it. Someone has to know, right? Like one of her closest friends is going to be like, girl, I gotta go meet this one dude or this other girl or whatever the case may be. Kids can't keep their mouths shut for shit. Man, someone has to know something. Like this is bullshit.
He kept coming up, a guy named Derek, and Derek was
Who the
claiming
fuck's
he was
Derek?
like best buds with Danielle. Now nobody else really knew about this, so why he'd be saying that was kind of odd. And one rumor that actually kind of began spinning around the school was that Derek had propositioned Danny. Asked her out. She said no. He cut her throat in the woods and left her to die. When he was questioned by police, he said he barely knew the girl.
The only thing I know about her, white female, black hair, blue eyes, went missing March 11th.
Of course he would say that. Of course he did. Or didn't.
When you did see her in school, where'd you see her at?
Walking around in the hallways. I basically said hey to her one time. And that was when I was talking to my friend Caroline. From what I've seen on Facebook, very beautiful face. She was a very, very beautiful girl.
So you infatuated with her. She kind of felt like a secret crush. No.
She seemed a little too pretty.
You had that.
Standoffish.
Yeah.
Was she standoffish to you?
She seemed like a goody-goody. And honestly, I don't hang out with goody-goodies. Goody-goodies have a bad habit of snitching. ain't gonna lie. I do illegal things, and I know I do.
He was a real pops collar tough guy in the interview room. Watch out. Watch out.
Now, I know I have been involved in some shadier side of things, you know, be up in there. Man, like right now on the back of my bike, I got some importer Capri Suns I didn't pay no taxes on whatsoever, son. Man, this kid's so gangster, let me tell you. Oh, shit. FBI's Tim most wanted by the time he's 30.
Once again, though, like every other lead, he had an alibi. Or claimed he did. I mean, he had an alibi, but he erased it.
Around 8:30, my dad left to go to a pool tournament. Again, I stayed on the computer, job searching. Between Facebook, job searching, and TV, that's what I was doing all night. I'm not really sure if there's any history on my computer. There might be. I'll have to take a look. Are you in the habit of erasing history? Yeah, I have a real bad habit. I've had a bad habit of it ever since my last Facebook got hacked.
Hackers getting into my search history yet again, so I always have to delete my search history. Yeah, Derek, I think most guys have that problem when they're home alone.
I delete my search history every time before I leave the house. You never know.
Danielle's phone last pinged near the highway, the I-95, and it was moving fast, so she was in a car. Then it stopped pinging, and that was it. One thing that worried them was that that road stretches the entire east coast, from Maine to Florida.
Damn.
She could be anywhere by now if she ran away, or was kidnapped. The police did search Derek's home. They found a burn pit, knives, and a shovel with what appeared to be blood on it. He also lived near the highway. However, just when they thought they were getting somewhere, it wasn't blood on the shovel, it was paint. Derek also didn't have a car.
Yeah, the little mafiosos.
Seemed like he was once again telling the truth, so another dead end.
Fuck.
This story is full of people who are telling the truth, but it seems like they're lying. And then
This story is full of a bunch of shady motherfuckers. Yeehaw. It really is. Like, they all sound shady as shit. Even the good ones have like a tint of shade. Like, you know what I mean? Like the first kid, the ex-boyfriend. Like, you believe it wasn't him, but like in the back of your mind, you're like, I mean, it could. You know? Everybody in the story's got a little bit of shade on them, man. I don't trust none of it.
it's like, oh, okay, fine, you are. Well, some of them. Derek was a bad boy, you know, much like myself, but it turns out he didn't know Danielle at all. He was just a shit talker who claimed to be best friends with everybody.
L'Oreal search efforts intensify for a 15-year-old girl more than a week after she vanished. How her family's coping with the teen's disappearance.
It was April 2nd, 2014, 3 weeks after Danielle left the home that night, that a call came in. It was an off-duty detective, if you can believe that, who just so happened to be driving to a fishing spot when he saw something floating in the water.
Is there a deputy that's close by with a pair of binoculars so I can make sure there's not a body in the water? It's Frank.
It was quickly determined to be a body, Danielle's body, wearing the same clothing as the last day she was seen. She'd been in there the entire time, and she'd been tied to cinder blocks. It was determined that she'd been strangled to death. A sock was in her mouth. It was the other night sock from the one found at the creek, and then someone had tied cinder blocks to her feet, and in she went. Something had likely happened at the creek, and then she ended up here, 30 minutes away. Something else 30 minutes away from the creek where it's believed it started was Jamichael's house. In fact, Jamichael's house was the same 30 minutes away from where Danielle's body was. In fact, Danielle's body was found here, and his house was like...
right there.
I still love her. I mean, she was a good girl.
See? Was. I said it. Do you not remember? I told you this boy's got a little bit of shade to him. You can tell by his face. Look at him. He's just stone-faced. And he kept using was and everything else. Like, you're not going to use was if you think they alive. You'll be like, she's a good girl and all, just not my cup of tea, bro. Not, she was a good girl. You know something, bro. You know something. Let your truth fly, homie.
We didn't have anything to do with her disappearance. You straighten out and tell you have nothing to do with it.
You know, the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is you don't seem like overly concerned about what's happened to her.
But I mean, I commented on stuff, said I'll cry, and I told her my messages I love her.
You don't seem real emotional when we're talking here. You just kind of, like, you know, like you're a prisoner of war or something, just boom, boom, answering the question.
Very stone-faced,
You know,
I
like.
mean, you expect me, I mean, I'm not going to cry or nothing.
I don't care if you do. I'll get you a tissue if you do. You have threatened her. That's a concern. At least you're honest and you admitted that, because I've got evidence that shows you threatened her. We've got the message.
I mean,
Dude, there's something, man. There's something you're not telling me.
I'm telling you everything's fair.
You killed this girl, or you had anything to do with it. You have every law enforcement agency around. It's got it for you.
Yes, sir.
See, I
The
said
police
the
did
same
find
thing.
texts between Danielle and
I was saying the same thing. He's too stone-faced. He keeps using was, bro. Like, people I truly love. I don't even like to use was when I talk about them, even though they are dead. I still say is. I can't handle it. My brain can't handle it. Like, he is, man. I'm telling you, shady as fuck.
Michael a couple of days before, and the texts were very mean, very cruel, and very threatening. She was trying to contact him. He was having nothing to do with it. He'd even blocked her on, like, everything. She kept finding ways to circumvent his blocks by using her friend's phone to contact him, to try and tell him something. Why? He was taken down to the station again, this time with his mom. The police left the pair in there before going in themselves.
That body, if it is hers, really how did it get down there? Somebody could have done it, but trying to frame you. Cause me and Mama know in our heart you ain't did nothing.
Too much. Okay. You're saying you didn't have anything to do with it. Yes, sir. How do you think that's going to make you look? Y'all can prove it has something to do with it, which y'all are not going to be able to because it doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm going to look perfectly fine. Well, then help me with this. Why did you fail the polygraph? I was nervous. I'm nervous sitting here now, so.
He denied having anything to do with it. However, the police found the very same cinder blocks that Danielle's body had been tied to at his home, along with the very same rope. But
Damn.
They didn't arrest him. They didn't have enough. Yet.
You're saying you think I'm a smart kid. Yeah, I do think you're a smart kid. Why in the world would I put her down the street and around the corner? Where's my home?
Yes, sir. Right there.
What if I tell you that we found the rope that she was tied up with? And y'all found the rope at your house? Shouldn't be around. Why shouldn't it be? Because it has nothing to do with it. Why the cinder blocks? Why the rope? Yeah. Why the polygraph? The evidence that's not going to lie. That's going to be the one thing that will get you at the end. You're going to look like a monster. You're not going to win this battle.
He had an alibi after all. Though his mom and his grandmother said he was at home that night, they also said, yeah, he was home, but we didn't actually see him. We just assumed he was home. The friend he was with, who was also his alibi, refused to speak to the police. In fact, his friend lawyered up. his friend who had a car. It was just a few days later that Jamichael came in to confess. Or said he came in to, confess. He said that night he went over to her
Jesus
house
ain't
to
helping you
speak
now,
with
bro.
her. His friend, who was also his alibi, drove them.
You murdered one of his flock, homie.
Wallet, and I threw it against her window. She came on and everything, and she got in the car, and we went to the creek. And we sat down and talked for a while.
See, the issue that they had wanted to speak about, the fights, the everything? Well, Danielle was claiming she was pregnant. They went down to the creek, and he told her to take a test in front of me. He did not believe her. And he said that if it came back positive, he would provide for the baby, but would not renew a relationship with her. And he said that's what happened, and she did not like him saying that at all, that he wouldn't get back with her.
She was supposed to take a pregnancy test in front of me. The whole time was like, take it, and she prove it to me right now. We were talking at first, and then I was like, I told her, no matter if you have this kid or not, I'm going to take care of my responsibilities. If it's mine, it's mine. I'm going to do what I got to do to step up and be a man. But I don't want to be with you at all. And she flipped.
There was like some kind of fight, and I don't know what happened, guys. She just slipped, I blacked out, and he'd killed her down there at the creek.
That's when she snapped on me. She punched me in my face. And she slapped me and jumped on top
She's a
of me.
female. Who gives a shit,
All I
bro?
remember was I grabbed her. I was choking her.
Himself and his friend then drove the body away, drove it to
A
near
girl that could be potentially
his
pregnant
home,
with your kid. Oh
climbed-
my. That is no reason to kill anyone, especially if they could potentially be pregnant with your fucking child. Be a fucking man. Fucking coward ass piece of shit.
cinder blocks around her and threw her in the river. Did it near his home so he could get back and his mother would see him like he'd never left.
Who put it in her mouth? Dominic did. Why would he do that? She was making a noise. When the sock was being placed in her mouth, did she move it all? Move her arms, legs? She was done. They're in the car. They're over the side, heading to the river. Taken to the grave and tunnel body.
The help scrawled that was unrelated to the death of Danielle. The texts sent from his phone showing he was home the entire time, they were scheduled texts. He had an app which allowed that. Jamichael and his friend Dominic were arrested and charged with Danielle's murder. But what really happened? I mean, come on now. No one believed he blacked out. It's thought that he murdered her because he believed she was pregnant and he did not want to be a dad. Because, I mean, why would he need to bring her down to the creek in a very secluded spot if he wasn't planning on murdering her? Why would he schedule texts if he wasn't trying to hide where he was going that night?
Yep. Piece of shit.
So
bro.
he had to kill her. Then he would be free to go and do whatever he wanted, become a Marine, whatever. She was not part of the plan. The thing was, Danielle was not pregnant at all. So whether that part of the story is even true, we will never know. Jamichael pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, and in return was sentenced to 25 to 31 years in prison.
Not
His
fucking long
friend
enough.
Dominic received 6 to 8 years as an accessory.
Not long enough.
For
Both
2
motherfuckers
years, the
need
family
life.
of Danielle Locklear has waged a fight.
You take a life, you give a life. That's just how that shit goes, bruh. And if she was sitting there telling you, if that part is true, like she's sitting there telling you she's pregnant and you're trying to get her to take a pregnancy test in front of her and you still kill her, you're trash, bro. You're trash. You don't ever hurt your baby mama.
For justice, and now that chapter is coming to an end.
I can't watch my baby get her high school diploma. I cannot watch her get married. That's the only one I can't even have any more children, Jermichael. And you took that away from me. You ripped out my soul.
Police say the 19-year-old confessed to strangling Locklear during an argument. They say he and a friend tied cinder blocks around her body and dumped her into the South River. Danielle's body was found a month later.
I know there's nothing I can do there where I can say it's going to bring her back. I do want to apologize for the actions that I made. I know sorry doesn't cut it, but I do want to say I'm truly sorry.
Malloy pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of second-degree murder and will spend a minimum of 25 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
Every day for the next 25 years, or however long you have, when you close your eyes, you will see Danielle taking her last breath.
And you will feel Bubba taking what he wants. You booty, oh, you some bitch. Oh, by the time in 25 years, man, your butthole's, it's not gonna be good. It's gonna be a little whopper jawed. It's gonna be a little like offside. It's gonna be a little half kiltered. It ain't gonna look right. It's gonna look angry all the time.
And Shanae, that is the story of Ms. Locklear. The real truth we will never know. Was she pregnant? Was she claiming she was pregnant to try and get back with Michael? Did she believe she actually was pregnant? What really happened? Was there some other reason why he killed her? He pleaded guilty. So there's so much about this that we will not ever really know. What he killed her over is unthinkable, but it happened. Jermichael was as cool as a cucumber, except when he wasn't. Like this picture caught of him in the middle of the search for Danielle. One of Danielle's family members took this picture as she believed he was acting suspicious. I guess he believed he was killing for his dream, when in reality, he killed his dream.
Yep.
Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me that you are here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. It means a lot to me that I'm here too. Man, that dude's a piece of shit, bruh. That the girl was pregnant, even if it's all a lie. Man, no. You killed someone who could be pregnant with your baby. You're trash. And I hope that you have so many things go inside your butt while you're in there that when you come out, that they have to make a specialty plug just for your anus to hold your stuff inside of you, bro. Really enjoyed today's video. If y'all enjoyed today's video as much as I did, please go down there, leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. While you're down there, if you want, go on over and slap that subscribe button. Become part of the Build for 1000 Nation. We do some crazy shit here. And if you want to know when that crazy shit happens, ding that bell. It might work for you. It might not. It probably won't. But if it do, it will definitely be late. But if it do, jump in on one of my premieres, get over in the live chat and be like, hey, Bill, you know that ding everyone's been talking about? Oh, I got one. Oh, it was so good. Oh my God. Leave a like and dip. That's all you got to do. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Damn, like, that's fucked up. Like, truly fucked up.